Hey everybody, today we're going to be talking about the Amfibia line of watches coming out of Vostok. Now these are not to be confused with the Vostok Europe line of watches, which are made in Lithuania. These are in-house Vostoks made in Kristopol, Russia. So as you can see, they do say, if I can get this to focus, there we go. They are made in Russia. They are a Vostok. This is the Amfibia line. This is an in-house Vostok movement. It is their 2415.01 in-house movement. It is a 31 ruby movement. It has a 31-hour reserve. It is a 200-meter rated watch. The case measures 42 diameters by 14.5 or 42 millimeters in diameter by 14.5 millimeters in height. The bracelet or strap is 20 millimeters. So this does feature, I'm trying to remember. So it does feature, instead of a friction fit on your bezel, this is a click type, which are very audible, very positive, and there's very little play in the bezel when you click. So it's very, very audible, it's very noticeable, it's very pronounced. The teeth on the bezel are very easy to grip. They're not too sharp, but they are definitely easy to get a hold of with your bare hand. My hands are a little bit oily, only because I've been cooking. So even with some oily hands, they are easily able to grasp that bezel. This is a no date watch. This is just a minute, second, and hour hand watch. There is no date feature, which I like. It simplifies everything. It is a cleaner look. As you can see, you have the second hand, or the second markers are inside of the case under the glass. The glass itself is actual mineral glass. It is not plexiglass or plastic type material, which would be featured on the traditional Amfibia line of watches, which if you are a Vostok collector, you are used to these being a plastic, almost kind of a plexiglass, which are very easy to scratch. This is, of course, mineral glass, so it's a hardened glass, which is nice. The watch itself is all polished case, stainless steel. The crown itself is also polished. It has a very good teeth. The teeth on the crown are very easy to grip. It is a spring-loaded crown. So when you unwind it from the case, it is spring-loaded. So you do have to push it up against the crown and tighten it. Just like so. The bracelet this watch is wearing is an H strap bracelet. It is not a factory bracelet, it is aftermarket. You can have them for about $30, $35. You can find them online. Normally this particular model of Amfibia Reef would come with a black leather strap. The Amfibia line also has the compressor, the Red Sea, the Black Sea, this line of Reef, and the Scuba, as well as the Turbina model. Now these represent kind of a modern take on Russian dive watches coming from the Vostok factory. This particular model, as you can see, very much takes its design cues from the Rolex Submariner, and probably, I would say, more prominently from the Seiko XKX line of watches. This, I would say, is probably very much compared to the Seiko SKX, which is 42 millimeters as well in case diameter. The Seiko is a bit thinner at 13 millimeters versus 14.5. The Seiko is also 200 meter rated. The Seiko features a 40-hour reserve versus this watch's 31-hour reserve. And the Seiko is also rated to 200 meters. The difference being that the Seiko is a little bit more in price, where these Vostok Amfibia Reef model watches can be had for under $200 The Seiko SKX are normally in that $200 to $250 range, depending on the model. When you purchase the watch, it will come in this cardboard box, which is kind of a nice upgrade over the little plastic cases that come with a traditional Amfibia from Vostok. Opening. Your watch would be displayed here, wrapped around this little pillow, along with your date card and serial number. You also receive, of course, your instruction booklet, which is in Russian predominantly. But there is a section in the back where it does, once you get past all the model specs of all the different lines, get back here, and you do have instructions in English. But being that this is a Vostok, it is very basic as far as setting the time. Nothing very fancy there. So, if you can read that. So this is made in Russia. Again, this is not to be confused with the Vostok Europe line of watches, which are made in Lithuania. These are Russian made. So don't let that dissuade you, because the letter or the number or the wording on the front of the watch is in English versus Russian Cyrillic. This is the strap that would normally come on this watch, which is black leather. It is actually a fairly good quality. I would have no problem wearing this with the watch, but of course I wanted to go with a more traditional dive watch look with a stainless bracelet, which is why I chose the bracelet I did. Weight on this watch is definitely noticeable. It's got weight to it, so it does not feel cheap. The finish on the stainless and the polishing is very good. The back is brushed, which is nice. The scripting is very sharp, very high quality. It is a screw down back case, and of course this is an automatic. So this, compared to a traditional Vostok Amfibia, and I apologize because this is a modded Vostok. But this is as close in case design as I had on hand to compare to this new Amfibia, which both represent a traditional case design and very basic minute, hour. Secondhand, this of course has a date, but with most of my traditional old style Vostoks, I never set the date. So as you can see, there's a small difference in size. Small difference in thickness. Overall, because this watch is wearing a stainless bracelet, it is predominantly heavier than this one, which is wearing a cloth bracelet. But if this watch was wearing the leather strap or a similar strap, it would still be predominantly heavier, but nothing crazy. So this watch representing the traditional Vostok Amphibias. It says Amfibia in Cyrillic on the front, and of course made in Russia in Cyrillic at the 6 o'clock. The other difference being that with the traditional Vostok, when you screw out the crown has wobble to it, which is supposed to be that way, and a lot of people think it's broken from the factory. You can see it's got a lot of wobble to it. and there's no spring on the crown itself. The new style Amfibia has a more traditional modern feel to it with the crown pulled out. There is very, very little to no wobble. You must, again, spring loaded, so you must push it up against the case and tighten. I've had this watch now for a couple days. I've been wearing it consistently throughout the day. It feels good on the wrist. The size and the weight, I would say, is comparable to my Rolex GMT Master. The finish is definitely high quality compared to the older Vostoks, which is what you would expect because they're targeting Seiko buyers. So you would expect Vostok to be spending a little bit more money and time on the build quality, and that does show. This is a very handsome watch. It's very basic. I don't always like setting the dates. So for me, having just a time and no date is perfect. And again, Vostok, the modern Amfibia line, does have several models. I encourage you, if you're interested, to check out Vostok website or Marinam.com where they sell these, and you can check the specs and the designs of each of the models. There's got to be something that will probably fit the flavor you're looking for. This, of course, I wanted because my next watch purchase was going to be a Seiko, but because I am a Russian watch collector, I decided this was the way to go. The only downside, if you enjoy modding your watches, like I do, this does not have a long list of modifications available currently. They do have several different color bezels that come on other models. Of course, different straps and bracelets, but that's about where it stops. With the Seikos, there is a long list of aftermarket parts and manufacturers who make anything from dials, hands, crowns, bezels, straps, and bracelets. So a Seiko has a lot of options when it comes to modification. This has very few. Hopefully that will change soon. So that's it. Again, I've really enjoyed the watch the first couple days I've had it. I set the time on this watch when I received it in the mail the other day, and I have not reset the time, and it has kept good time. The time has stayed within roughly 30 seconds of when I set it, which for a Vostok is very good. Now again, a misnomer with Vostoks you hear is that they are not accurate or reliable, and that's just not true. They are adjustable. You just have to know how to do it, which is very easy. You just must remove the rear case, and there is an adjustment for the movement. So if you find your watch is running a little fast or a little slow, you can make a simple adjustment and repeat if necessary. So that's it. If you have any comments or questions, please feel free to shoot them my way. I will answer them as I can. But overall, I'm very pleased with this purchase, especially for well under $200. It's a good looking watch. It feels good on the wrist. It has good weight, has good quality. It has good looks. So for my money, I'd love to stay Russian as far as my collection goes. And this watch was a good choice to keep it in that country's origin. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. We'll see you next time.